Wouldn't it be great to have a business partner who never asks for a cut, never complains, and always provide funding when you need it?
Tell me more.
No stress, no arguments, just access to money when you need it. Here's the thing, that kind of partner already exists. No, it's not an investor, it's not a loan shark, and it's definitely not a friend or a family member. It's business credit. See, most entrepreneurs struggle because they rely on personal savings or investors, but you don't have to. In this video, I'll be breaking down 3 silent funding resources that can help your business without giving up any type of ownership or control. Let's get into it. Back when I started my party bus business, I paid everything out of pocket, especially gas and equipment. I remember our first few months running trips every weekend. Gas alone was eating up hundreds of dollars per trip, and every time something broke, whether it was the AC or the speakers or even just replacing tires, I had to come out of pocket. I remember one time the brakes went out and we had to scrape up $5,000 just to get the bus back on the road. Now, the money we made was barely covering our expenses. And since every dollar went back into keeping the bus up and running, we never had cash on hand to actually grow the business. If you want to hear more of that story, I just made an entire video on how business credit helped my party bus business grow. So go check that video out after you watch this video. But what if I had vendor accounts set up? I could have put the gas, the repairs, and even new equipment on vendor credit, giving me 30 to 60, even 90 days before I had to pay it off. That extra time would have let me keep cash in the business, take on more bookings, and actually scale instead of just surviving. See, the great thing about vendor credit, it can be built with just EIN only, no personal guarantee needed. The key is to properly structure your business so it's seen as fundable as possible. So once that's in place, you can start opening up vendors accounts with companies like Dale, Home Depot, Wex Gas Card, which by the way saved our business, to establish your business credit profile. While vendor trade lines are a good starting point, they come with limitations. They don't give you the direct access to the bank's money. That's why many businesses get stuck thinking vendor credit alone is enough. The real goal, building the right business credit profile that leads to high limit funding with banks. Banks aren't lending based on how many net 30 accounts you have. They care about financial trade lines, which brings me to the next silent partner, business credit cards. I know a guy, let's call him Mike. Mike wanted to open an event space, but like most entrepreneurs, he didn't have the cash to get started. He found the perfect location, but between the lease, renovations, furniture, and marketing, the upfront costs were overwhelming. Instead of waiting years to save up or taking out a huge loan with crazy interest rates, he took a different route. I like to call creative financing, right? He used business credit cards. Here's how he made this happen. He locked in a lease with a 0% interest business credit card. He paid for renovations without touching his personal savings. He bought furniture and equipment using vendors' accounts. He also ran ads and booked clients before he even opened up his doors. So 7 months later, Mike had a fully operational event space without using his own cash and giving up any type of ownership. And because he used 0% interest business credit card strategically, he had time to pay off the balances while his business made money. Wow. Don't get me wrong, business credit cards are great. It's a great way to start. But if you're looking for high limits and more flexibility, the next step in business is lines of credit. Unlike business credit cards, a business lines of credit gives you access to cash whenever you need it, without being tied to a specific purchase. You can withdraw funds, pay them back, and reuse them just like a safety net for your business. Here's why business lines of credit are great partners. Number 1, higher limits. Banks typically offer more funding than business credit cards. Number 2, cash access. You can transfer money directly into your business account without any cash advance fees. Number 3, only pay interest on what you use. If you don't need it, you don't pay for it. So for example, let's say you run a catering business and you land a big event contract, but you need to buy ingredients, hire extra staff, and rent equipment before you get paid. Now, if you only had a business credit card, you have to charge everything individually and worry about credit limits or cash advance fees. But with a business line of credit, you can pull $20,000 in cash, cover all the expenses up front, and pay it back once the client pays you. And the best part, you only pay interest on what you use. Here's the thing. Most businesses don't fail because they're bad ideas. They fail because they run out of money. When you understand how to use business credit cards, business line of credit, and vendors accounts, you'll never get stuck waiting on cash. You always have options. See, some people rely on investors or loans that come with strings attached. But the real silent partners, they the ones that don't ask for a cut, don't slow you down, and always provide funding when needed. The question is, are you using them to your advantage? Watch this video next if you want to learn 5 ways a new LLC can get funding.